Our dear listeners and people who are watching us, I greet you all in the name of Jesus. My name is Charity MULIIRA from Chiboga. I am married to Edward MULIIRA. God has blessed us with 5 children. Our firstborn is Confidence Joshua Musasizi. The secondborn is Comfort Job Mwanguzi. The thirdborn is Success Benjamin Mugabi. The fourthborn is Promise Joy Mirembe. The lastborn is Favor Precious Glorious Kwagala. I'm a daughter to Mr. Elsam Zadoch Twamio Mjuni and Mrs. Twamio Mjuni Faith. I'm the firstborn in that home. We are 7. I'm followed by 5 brothers, and the lastborn is a sister. My follower is called Ediga Musinguzi. The one who follows him is Chigongo Brian. The ones who follow him are twins, Kato and Kakulu. The follower is Chiza Martin. The last born is Mwebaze Patricia. So I thank the Lord so much for our family. The Lord has been so good to me, and that's why I come here to testify of the goodness of the Lord. Brethren, those of you who are watching me, I want to thank the Lord so much because I've come to realize there are 3 levels or steps in our spiritual lives. You know, the first step I realized is salvation, and the next one is deliverance, and the third is transformation. I've come to realize that it is very hard for the Lord to transform a life before delivering that life, and it is very difficult for the Lord to deliver someone before saving that very person, because the Lord wants to give you his things, but he also wants your soul. He wants your spirit because he's your creator. From the time I was young, I realized my parents, both of them were rich. They were both civil servants. We've never lacked anything. I found myself with everything in life. We had everything we needed. We had the school fees, we had the clothes, we had the food. We have never lacked anything. So physically speaking, it was like we were living a good life. But I realized that from childhood until I grew up, there was a problem in my life. Whoever would befriend me, whoever would come close to me would die. If they don't die, they would get a lot of problems. Maybe lose their parents and become school dropouts. And I was wondering why it was happening in my life. You know, when you don't know something, it always disturbs and destabilizes you. So in 1992, I got born again. I went to a secondary school called Satito Winye in Hoima. And that is where I joined the fellowship. Then I got spirit-filled. But I was surprised because by the time I joined that fellowship, people were praying. They used to go for lunch hour, morning glory, every day. But when I joined the fellowship, they stopped them from fellowshipping. The teacher came in the fellowship room, in lunch hour fellowship, and told the students that from today onwards, no more fellowship in this school. You should all go to the dining room when it is time for lunch. So we started praying by force. And I realized, I thought it was all supposed to be like that because of the scriptures that they used to share during those days. So I thought salvation was all about battles. I thought you cannot enjoy salvation. I never knew. So many Christians drop out of salvation simply because they don't know about deliverance. But deliverance makes everything easy. So one day, I went ahead and went to college, and the same thing followed me up. Students would die, students would drop out of school, people who loved me would get problems, and people used to hate me a lot. When I joined college, I found students going to pray. They used to fellowship from Kansanga Miracle Center, and the college was Gaba College, but it was a Catholic founded college. But students used to go out because they were teachers. They used to go out. The pastor used to send a bus which used to come and collect the students, take them to church, and then bring them back. But the moment I joined the college like this, the same thing followed me up. The principal stood up on an assembly and said from today onwards, no more fellowships in this college. You all know this is a Catholic founded college. No one is allowed to go out without permission. And then they started saying we should all fellowship from the Catholic church. I said no to the students and told them, I've been going through this all this while. I know what it means and I know what they are talking about. We are going to fight. This is just a war. You know, salvation is a war. So I encouraged them. We started going out by force until one day when we were even suspended. We returned with our parents. They pleaded for us. We were almost doing our final exams. But we thank the Lord so much that He helped us to complete our course. After that, I had another thing in my life, the spirit of rejection. Whenever I could do good things, people would not recognize them. So many times, so many people would always recall the bad side of me. When I could do good things to people, they could not see the good side. They were always seeing the bad things that I used to do. I had music. I started recording music in 2003. But wherever I could take my music, maybe to the radios to be played, people would not play the music. However much you pay, however much you try your level best to explain to them, they could not play the music. You go somewhere, you want to sing, and they forget you. All the time I was always being forgotten. I was always the last in doing things. So one day, I decided and said, now, why am I disturbing myself? Let me just pack my music, put it in my bag, and take it to the village in Chiboga. I had that spirit. We could go to parties and they isolate us, they uproot us from seats, like move away from this seat. There are some important people who want to come and sit here. So many things used to happen because of that spirit of rejection. Now, these things that used to kill my friends, in 2001, when I got engaged with my husband, 2 weeks to the introduction ceremony, this spirit wanted to kill my husband. He was involved in 3 accidents. The accidents that he was involved in were so terrible. They wanted to kill him. But I want to thank the Lord so much because He enabled him to survive. He was a strong man, and we used to pray together and fast together because the Lord used to open our eyes and help us to see all these things before they come to pass. I want to tell you, this spirit of rejection is very terrible because everything rejects you. You even reach an extent of rejecting yourself because whatever we used to do, whatever I used to use could reject me. There is a school that I first taught in after I was a civil servant. After school, I joined civil service. I went into a certain school where I used to teach in Chiboga. But in this school, this is when I got married in 2001, and then I started giving birth to children. Like I told you, I have 5 children, but I gave birth to all these 5 children in the first 10 years of my marriage. This means that every year I was either pregnant or breastfeeding or both. And now I started teaching in this school. I got a lot of problems with the leadership because every time I used to come and arrive late at school, I didn't know how to get in touch with all these other things. Now the housemaids, the children, and every other thing. The workload was too big, and I didn't know how to manage time. And I got problems with that. When they spoke against me so many times, I got fed up and tired. I said I'll start my own school. Actually, I've started it, but now I didn't live in a good way. I just wrote a resignation and said I've resigned. They called me to come and talk about it. I refused to go, and then I resigned from civil service. Then I started doing my own businesses. But brethren, let me tell you, when the spirit of rejection is upon you, everyone rejects you. Everything rejects you. You even end up rejecting yourself. I had another thing. When I got married to my husband, I used to get bad dreams at night. I could dream a cow chasing me. Sometimes I go, maybe I hide myself under the bed, and this animal comes and checks me out. Wild animals chasing me, snakes and mad people, and people running after me to chase me, to rape me. I also used to dream a man who wanted to rape me all the time, and I started asking myself, when I got married, I was a virgin. I prayed to God to give me a virgin man, and God did it. And I was wondering, where did all these things originate from? I didn't know anything about them. There is no prayer that I did not make. I don't know. I used to read more about spiritual warfare. I read so much and I prayed so much. I fasted so much, but all these things did not work out. Now, when I got married to my husband, he was okay. He used to get like 0.5 of a million, and that was good money by 2001. But when I got married to him, because of this curse that was upon my life, the enemy used it also to make him cast like, because it's good to get married after being delivered, so that your blessings will follow you in your marriage. But now, because I was cursed, this curse came and attacked my husband also. Now, this is exactly what happened in my life. They started moving us from one house to another. The Umeme people also began hating us. You know, when you have rejection, even Umeme hates you very much. Brethren, I want to assure you, we had only 2 rooms. We didn't have any machines in the room. But this is what happened. Each time the Umeme bills would come, they were like 0.8 of a million, 0.6 of a million. And now the landlords would get surprised. What all of a sudden did these people come with? Because before they came to this house, to this building, the fees were low. The bills of electricity were low. But now when they arrived to this room, to these rooms, they started raising the bills. So they used to chase us from their houses, moving from one house to another. It was very taxing. Our things used to get spoiled in the long run, and so many things that just started happening. Now, we were pastoring in a certain church as assistant pastors, the first church that we used to minister to. After 7 years, because of the spirit of rejection that was upon my life, people used to talk evil against me, like I don't deserve my husband, he yatomera, like some things of that kind. So I got discouraged in my spirit. I got fed up of people. I started saying, God, is this the kind of life that you have called me into? But one day I was surprised. We came to church, and as we were sitting, we found our seats occupied by other people. And we were like, what has happened today? But when we saw a lot of wars that very day. Things came out like pangas, people brought out chibokos, sticks, stones, chasing us away from the church. They told us, go, we are tired of you, just leave us alone and go wherever you want. Then we came and started a new church. We said, okay, it's fine. We already had a lunch hour fellowship, so we turned that very place into a church. And I thought that what the other people were saying, these people will not say it, because this is a different congregation altogether. So this is exactly what happened. I found the same words in these people, the new converts that came to the new church that we started. They started now talking the same things that the other people used to talk, like I am a violent woman, I am angry, I am ugly, I am not worthy to be his wife, and so many other things. So I started hating people. I thought all of them are the same. And now this is what surprised me. Whoever would turn out to become my friend, maybe help me, support me, would die. I remember one time there is a scenario that happened. A pastor friend of ours came and visited our church and promised and said, I'm going to stand with you, I'm going to pray with you, I'm also going to support you, I'll bring at least 15 bags of cement to help you stand in this ministry. In the very week that he was supposed to arrive in Chivoga, he was knocked by a boda and Okada. And he died in one day like this and left. And so many other people, many used to promise and they do not fulfill. Many used to hate us for no good reason, and we did not know why. So until I got fed up one day and I decided to befriend only 2 things. First of all, I used to love TV and reading novels and the Bible. We became my friends, and I hated everyone. I never used to visit anyone. I started hating everyone, everywhere. This spirit of lust used to come upon my life. Like everyone who sees you wants to sleep with you simply because of the other spiritual husband. When you have a spiritual husband who comes and sleeps with you, when he sees your husband or your wife, if it is a spiritual husband, if it's a spiritual wife, it's a husband. Now, if it sees your spouse, it sees him as a competitor. All the time, he wants to wrestle against him and wants to destroy everything that he does. So it also brings the spirit of lust and fornication upon your life. Whoever sees you wants to sleep with you because of that spirit of lust that is upon your life. And it was also on me simply because of that. Now, I would give birth to only 1 sex of children. Whenever I could give, I started giving birth, and even children I would not go through much labor pain. These children, whenever I could get pregnant of a baby girl, I could get a miscarriage. I could dream a mad person touching my stomach, and then my womb, all of a sudden I get a miscarriage. But if it was a baby boy, it was okay. So in 2008, I was in my office reading my novels, and then a sister came to me, a neighboring sister. She came and told me, but why do you like reading books all the time? And I said, yeah, it's part of my life. There is nothing to do. I don't have friends. I don't visit. I don't do anything. The only thing I do is to read books. So I like reading books, and every week I have a book to read. And then she said, I have a very interesting book that I will bring to you. I said, bring it. She brought me a book. At first I did not even read it, but afterwards I read it. But as I was reading that book, it was called God's Covenant in Dagano ya Katonda in Uganda. It was written by Pastor Tom Mugerwa of Mutundo Christian Fellowship. I read this book, and can you imagine, I started reading about everything that I have told you about. I had never known before. You know, the Bible says that my people perish for lack of knowledge. And the same Bible says, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. I've come to realize that it's only the truth that you know that will set you free. The truth that you do not know cannot set you free. There is no prayer that I did not make. I was spirit-filled. I was a pastor's wife. I was a minister, but I was living in the life of bondage. All the time I was in tears. Most of the time, my friends were always in frustrations. But brethren, let me tell you, knowledge is very important. Knowledge is power. Knowledge gives you authority. When I read about all my situations, I got so bitter and violent in my spirit. I said, so it has been the devil all this while. I got so terrible about it. I said, God, you must deliver me. When my husband returned that very day, I told him, honey, you know what? I have come to realize exactly what has been disturbing and distorting and destabilizing our lives, and I am going to pray and seek God and fast until God delivers me. But at first, after reading that book, I said, I think Pastor Tom Mugerwa must be great and anointed to deliver me out of this issue. And so I got the number from that book. I called the number, but the person who picked the number told me that Pastor Tom Mugerwa had gone abroad to London with his wife, and they were going to spend there like 1 month. So I said, no, I cannot wait until 1 month. God must deliver me. Pastor Tom is not God. Pastor Tom is just a servant of God whom the Lord has used to transfer this knowledge and information to me.